Hey there, Al Williamson with leadinglandlord.com. I want to show you today how to analyze your potential income in a region. If you're don't know exactly where to set up for extended stay rental, I want to help you. Let's take a look at the South Bay in 2022. This is an area that's very, very expensive. It's like Silicon Valley. So here's the report. Here's the area. Well, I know San Jose is super expensive. There's not much imbalance between the hospitality industry and the rental market. So if you're in that area, where can I set up an extended stay rental? Where's the best spot? Well, I'm going to take a look at these cities to show you, and we're just going to see how they all line up. So first thing I do is I go to rental meter, and I'm trying to quickly analyze the rental market for monthly rents of an unfurnished apartment. We're going to look at a one bed, one bath, because that's similar to a hotel room. And in rental meter, you have to purchase their monthly subscription. You can take a look at their low in that area for monthly rent and also the median or the average. I take the lower part, either the median or the average, depending on which one's the least amount. And what I do is for those cities I showed you, I find the low and the median for each one, and I do that for all 9 of them or all the cities that you want to analyze. So that's going to give you a range for that city of rents for a one bed, one bath. Then the next thing I do is I go to Google Maps and I get a summary of what's going on with the extended stay hotels in that area. I want to see what the range are. So it could be this. You can type in on Google Maps hotels with kitchenettes in them. This one's for Morgan Hill. And there's not many in Morgan Hill. I see one, and then I see the rate, $93 a night. And other times you might go to Google Maps and type hotels with kitchenettes in them, like Fremont, California, and there's a whole cluster of them. And then you kind of have to go through and analyze it. I'm looking for hotels that are these extended stay hotels. Here's the top 10 brands in the United States. All these right here, Extended Stay America being the largest. And from there, I get a range of the extended stay hotels, their nightly rates. I take a look at the low end and the high end to get the range. And then I multiply those numbers by 30 so that I turn nightly rates into monthly rates. And that's what I have here for all those cities I'm analyzing. Now, the next thing I do is I need to find the difference between the two markets. That's where the arbitrage happens. I want to find the difference between what it costs to stay at a hotel for a month and what it costs to stay in an apartment for a month. So that's what I'm doing. Subtract this. So let's take a look at Los Gatos. I'm going to take a look at their monthly hotel rate, which is on the low end, which is $4,440, and I want to subtract that from what it costs to stay on a lower end apartment in Los Gatos, which is $1,859. So here I'm going to do it here. Here's the math. So $4,440 minus $1,859. That gives us a difference between those two markets of $2,581. All right. So that's the difference between the two markets. On the low side, you have to do the same thing to find the difference between those two between the market on the high side as well. And you do that for each city. So that's what I got here. There's that $2,581 that we just calculated. And I do that for everything. So I'm pulling it together. If I skip a section, that means I really didn't have anything to compare it to on the high side, but the low side is the most important thing. All right. The next step you do, now that you got this potential spread between those two markets, is you subtract off the expenses that it would cost you, the monthly expenses of your apartment. Now, that monthly expense might be a Wi-Fi, might be parking, gas, electricity, some days of vacancies, renter's insurance. You want to compare apples to apples. The hotel rooms are all inclusive. You need to make this apartment all inclusive by adding these things. So let's just assume it's $450 of expenses per month to run a one bed, one bath, just like a hotel room. Okay, so in Los Gatos, we're going to take the spread, the $2,581 we were talking about, subtract off $450, and that's going to give us a difference of what's left over is $2,131. All right, so that's our potential spread. That's the difference. That's our adjusted difference between those two markets, between the hospitality industry and the rental industry. All right, and I do that on the high side, and I do that for every city that I was analyzing. And now the next step is to really add a safety factor onto it, because we did an adjusted profit, but let's add a safety factor on it because it's really important to be conservative, because you want to manage your risks. You want plenty of margin when you're doing a rental arbitrage. Plenty of margin. So I'm just going to take 20% off of these numbers, and that's going to kind of see what our profit is. If I take 20% off, I'm being conservative. So that's what I do. I'm going to keep working with this Los Gatos number. This now we have left between this adjusted difference between the hospitality industry and the rental industry. Remember, we're adjusting. We already baked in the expenses. It's $2,131. Let's multiply that by 0.8, which means like 80% of that number, and we're going to end up with $1,705. Okay. Now we do that for each the high side as well. For every city, we do that, and that's going to give you a realistic expectations of what your potential profit is in that area for that city. It's going to give you a range, an envelope of profit. I plotted it out. There's that number again. There's our adjusted, and then I plotted them all out so that you can see. This is the possible monthly profit for rental arbitrage in these different cities in the South Bay. Okay. Now we're looking for a minimum of $500 before we can consider that area viable. So I'm going to draw a line here of our $500 threshold right there. Anything below the line we don't take. Anything above the line we can consider. Let's take a look at Los Gatos. Yep, it has a low potential profit and a high potential profit, close together, not too far apart, but well above $500. So that's definitely a possibility. Same with Campbell, same with Cupertino, and same with Milpitas. But look at San Mateo. Its minimum profit margin is below $500. So we're not going to consider that. Same with Hayward. You see, it does have a high side well above $500, but that minimum is below $500, and that's too much risk. So we're going to skip that city, skip Fremont, and we're going to skip. Well, Hayward has a minimum above $500, so that could be considered, and so we'll take that. And Pleasanton has a minimum below, and same with Foster City, so we won't consider those two. So this is my analysis here, and this is the same approach you can use in your market, in your region, to see where's the best place to set up. And I hope that helps you out. And if you want more guidance on ways to make additional money or reduce your expenses, all you got to do is subscribe.